Valemount, British Columbia is a picturesque village nestled between three mountain ranges, the Rockies, the Caribous, and the Monashees. The area offers stunning mountain scenery and endless recreational activities, just 15 minutes from majestic Mount Robson and only 1 hour from world-famous Jasper National Park.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Robinson, Marketing Coordinator for Tourism Valemount. We're filming our very first episode of Discover Valemount today. We're going to learn to see and do great things around Valemount area. I just stopped by the Valemount Visitor Center here, and they let me know about all the different birds that are out at the Cranberry Marsh. I'm going to go check that out. It's a fantastic day for a bike ride. I'm going to hop on and get on out there. The Cranberry Marsh, known officially as the R.W. Starrat Wildlife Sanctuary, is located just 1.5 kilometers or 1 mile south of Valemount on Yellowhead Highway 5. The trailhead begins at the Best Western Plus Valemount Inn and Suites. A short walk will bring you to the main dike where bird watching opportunities are spectacular, especially in May and June. The full loop around the marsh is a gentle stroll of just 6 kilometers or 3.5 miles and includes 2 wildlife viewing towers. We're here at the Cranberry Marsh Trailhead at the Best Western. This is Bruce Wilkinson. He is a nature interpreter for the village of Valemount. Bruce, can you tell us a bit about the marsh?
Sure. This is a very unique place here in that it's part of the Pacific Flyway. It's the western edge of the Rocky Mountains. And we have this cool lake system that was here at one time, and it's been altered over the years because of construction and the railways and things like that, farming. It got pretty drained out back until about the 1980s. And in the 1980s, Ducks Unlimited came in and developed it into the sanctuary and the marsh that it is today. It's a beautiful place. We have over 140 species of birds in here, and it's just a unique area. Shall we walk out and look at it?
Let's go, Bruce.
This marsh is over 310 hectares, so over 700 acres. It's a very big area. You can look at it now, it looks kind of dull because it's springtime and everything hasn't greened up yet.
Right.
Another 2 weeks and everything will be green. It's green out there.
Yeah.
You can see the duckweed. This has all just come back since the ice has melted.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty cool. That feeds a lot of the puddle ducks. And this is our first tower.
Right.
Very diverse habitat. So we have habitat for all the different species that come into this marsh. So Jan, from here you can see what a unique place this is. This is the confluence of everything here in my books as far as the Rocky Mountains or the mountains go. What we have on our extreme left from here is the Rocky Mountains. In between the Rocky Mountains and this mountain, which is the last of the Monashees, that's actually the Rocky Mountain Trench. So it runs all the way from Montana to Alaska.
Wow.
This is a straight line, which makes this a migratory bird path.
Oh.
It's a very easy place for them to fly. So the Columbia River runs down that drainage. Okay, this lake used to drain into the Columbia. Down over here, you'll see a valley, and that's the valley that divides the Monashees from the Caribous. So they're separate mountain ranges. This is the third one over here. But down there, if we only go a little ways, we'll actually come into the drainage of the North Thompson River.
Wow.
It's a pretty unique area. This end of this marsh, over at the Caribou Mountains, used to drain out also, and it ran north up to the Fraser River. So we have 3 major water drainages, the Rocky Mountain Trench, three mountains, 3 rivers. It's so cool here.
So Bruce, what kind of species of birds can we expect to see here at the marsh?
There's been sightings of over 150 species in the marsh here. And again, it's because of the unique habitats. Because it's a marsh, it has all the wetland birds. Anything from terns, we have common terns, Arctic terns, black terns, all nest here. We have all the ducks that you could think of, and geese, of course. You can hear the geese every once in a while out here. And then if you look at the surrounding territory, we have habitats for warbler type birds over there in the aspen groves. We have all the seed eaters and the coniferous needing birds living over here in the black spruce. Just over here, it's all a pine forest. So because we have such a unique ecosystem here, we have a lot of species of birds. So let's go for a walk out on the marsh and see what we can see out there on the dike.
Sounds good.
Okay. So Jen, you can see this here. This was made to regulate the water.
Okay.
It's been a problem since I've lived here that the marsh has always had water, not had water. It's good for the birds. This was put in 2007, as you can see. In 2003, the marsh was really drained down because of a forest fire and they were taking water from it.
Right.
It never recovered. Got to the point in about 2010 or 11 that we were worried about no water in the marsh. And fortunately, we had a good snow year last year and this last winter, and it's fuller than it's ever been. And now we've got a good control for height. So this side will always stay at roughly the height we see it today.
Excellent.
So it's pretty cool. So Jen, over the years, there's been lots of enhancements to the marsh to help wildlife. This marsh should support about 17,000 nesting pairs of ducks.
Wow.
So it's a huge number of ducks. One of the things that was done was in the probably about 1999 or 2000, we built 30 of those nesting tunnels. You can see this one's kind of in rough shape. They're made out of straw, and unfortunately on this one the straw is rotted away, so it has to be repaired. Right. And that's for the puddle ducks, the diving, or the ducks that just jump up in the air. Oh. And why they're there is because the duck goes in and makes his nest in there, her nest in there. And what happens in the marsh is when they walk away from their from their nests on these islands, the ravens will be flying over and they'll steal their eggs and eat them. Oh. So when we have this sheltered place, the ravens can't see the eggs from the air, and we have a much better survival rate. So as I say, there's over 30 of them in the marsh and they all need repair right now. As you look across the marsh, Jen, you can see clumps of trees. And all of those clumps of trees are growing on islands that were built when Ducks Unlimited came in here. Because after this marsh was drained, it was a lake, and after it was drained, it was really no good for anything. And when Ducks Unlimited came in and rehabilitated the whole thing, they made over 50 nesting islands for the ducks out there. Jen, so here we're coming into a really cool black spruce forest. This is pretty unique, and what we've got is a splitting of the trail. This part's going to take us out to the tower, and the trail off to our right there goes all the way around the marsh. That's a 6-kilometer walk. Okay. So here we are at the second tower. This one will give us views back across the marsh. We can see the open water areas where some of the bigger ducks and birds come. Quite often we've seen cranes here. Sandhill cranes have come in here. Right. But they only come in at this time of year in the early spring. And you'll always only see them back here where people don't go too often. So Jen, from here we can actually get a good view as to what this area was at one time. So back before the 1900s, this was actually a lake. It was over 10 kilometers long, about 3 kilometers wide. So it was a huge body of water. When we got our transcontinental railway, they came through and they blocked off this end to build the railway tracks around, rather than having to go all the way over there to the Caribou Mountains to come around. So they blocked it off, they drained it, they blasted out that end and drained water down the Columbia system. So this was a huge lake. It was very important to people that came to the area because they could fish in it. And a lot of ducks lived on it, but it was an island lake. Some of the places we just walked through in the forest over there had mounds of land. They would have been sticking above the water. Right. And out here there was quite a big island. You'll see it at the homestead when you walk all the way around. It's quite a cool thing. And so after this all drained, it turned into sort of what we see in front of us, where there was grass and no real usable habitat for ducks and stuff. And that's when we came in and built all the nesting islands you can see out here. There's an eagle flying. Oh yeah. So the eagles tend to come in here and hunt ducks at this time of year because it's very easy for them, and there's not much other food out there. So, so they have to come here. So this is a prime habitat for wildlife, and it's an amazing walk all the way around. So Jen and I were around the far side of the marsh. The dike there, the tower that we were on is way over there. The dike's way over there.
Okay.
So this is called Canoe View Park.
Right.
And this is where you would put your canoe in to canoe on the marsh.
Okay. Excellent.
So you get a better view of where the marsh comes from and everything here. So Jen, if we just look out this way, the marsh, the inflows come from over here. And when this was a lake, that big drainage, that valley there, McCurdy Creek, used to feed the lake. So a lot of water came into it. When they divided off for the railway, that creek was diverted, so it only runs down to the Columbia River now, down to the Canoe River and into the Columbia system. The only water that feeds our lake now is this big bowl up here that's full of snow still.
Yes.
Okay, that really doesn't have any name. That's on the trail that goes number 6 trail. If you go up to Micah Mountain, or to McCurdy Trail, McCurdy Mountain, that's where you'd be, is right above that snow.
Okay.
So that snow melts, comes down in here and fills this all up nice. This has really filled up a lot. Since the last couple of years, we used to put our canoes in out there.
Wow.
So it's pretty exciting to see it this full.
Yeah.
So when we look out here, we can see it looks more grassy.
Yes.
This end of the whole marsh area is the area where you're going to see the terns. Because the terns build floating nests, and the nests are just reeds woven like this. So when you go out there and look at them, the egg is floating, but you can see the water through the nest.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty cool. But they like to be in this whole grassy area at this end of the marsh. It's just the environment that's best for them. Okay, so as I said earlier, birds use certain sections because it's the best spots for them.
Right.
So again, you can see from around here, behind us we have the aspen forest turning into the black spruce, going back into mixed deciduous and coniferous, back into willows and stuff on the main marsh, and then over there into black spruces again, feeding into the aspens and poplars. So that's why we see the beavers on that side of the pond more than this side. There's more aspens and poplars over there. So everything has its own niche. Okay? That side we'll see more moose on, just because there's less people out there and things like that.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Cranberry Marsh. For more information, please contact the Valemount Visitor Center. See you next time.